adventures of Biggles.
Raymond has briefed Biggles on the strange job required of him in the heart of Asia. Somewhere in the wild Gobi Desert, a small band of Christian missionaries are hiding from the Chinese Communist government. Will Biggles fly in to rescue them? While Biggles is wrestling with this problem, his air police are having a thoroughly good time. On hired horses, they're making the most of a day off by racing through the countryside beyond London. Bertie leads the other horseman over a high fence. Ginger follows, but Algy's horse balks, throwing his rider to the ground. Immediately, the others rush over to him.
Sorry to make a boner of it, blokes, but the darned horse jibbed.
You're all right.
I'll lie here for a moment, get back my wind. How's the nag?
Oh, as right as rain. Lost a bit of skin, but that's all.
I shouldn't have put him at the fence. Didn't think he was a jumper.
No, it's my fault, old trout. I was not a clot to suggest it. Trouble is, the old GGs made me feel a bit light-headed today.
Made you worse than usual, you mean?
Oh.
Algy, you aren't all right.
Yeah, of course I am. Bit bruised and shaken, that's all.
You might have broken some bones. Better lie still till we bring a doctor.
Oh, nonsense. I'm fine. There, you see? I can stand.
A bit belly wobbly.
But I wouldn't be able to stand with broken bones. Now, help me over to the horse and we go back.
You aren't going to ride. And now, look, we'll walk. It isn't far.
But we can't leave the horses.
Bertie can lead them. But I'm going to help you. Now, put your arm round my neck.
Now, take him as gently as you can, Ginge. We'll drive him to London and then toss him to the nearest valley doctor. We aren't taking any risks with our old Algy.
Well, what's the verdict, Doc?
There's nothing obviously wrong with you, Lacey. Apart from a few bruises, of course.
I told the blokes it was stupid to see a doctor.
I said there was nothing obvious. That doesn't mean I'm giving you a clean bill.
But I feel all right. A bit bumpy and bruised, but nothing else.
No. Still feel that pain in your chest?
Oh, yes, but you said there was a bruise there.
And there's also a rib. Maybe broken.
Oh, that's ridiculous. I can't have a broken rib.
People frequently do when they fall from a horse.
But it's impossible. That'd lay me up, wouldn't it?
Not completely. But you'd have to take it quietly for a few weeks. Remember the old light duties in the RAF.
Yes.
That sort of thing. No violent exercise or overdoing it.
And what's the treatment?
Oh, I'd strap it for you, and you'd have to keep the strapping on until the bone was knit again.
Would the strapping hinder my movements very much?
Not a great deal. But, as I said, you wouldn't be indulging in any violent exercise. I'll ring Dr. Jamison to arrange an x-ray.
No, I'd rather you didn't, Doctor.
But, my dear man, if you have a broken rib...
I'd just as soon not know about it.
But that's foolish.
Look, Doc, you know my work, don't you?
I know you and your friends lead a wild, adventurous sort of life. Something to do with Scotland Yard, aren't you?
We're air police. And right now, Biggles is being given details of our next assignment. It might take us anywhere. The Philippine Islands, North Pole, even Timbuktu.
It's out of the question if you have a broken rib.
That's why I don't want to find out about it. If I knew and Biggles knew, I'd be left behind.
I appreciate how you feel, young fella, but I can't be responsible for your health unless we check on this.
Well, how about strapping me up anyway? Then, if it is broken, it'll probably heal.
Well, it isn't regular, you know. You should be x-rayed to make sure.
To blazes with being regular, Doctor. There's a stunt on. I'm not going to miss it through a bit of a bump.
Oh, all right. Take your shirt off again, and I'll see what I can do.
Well, here he is, the patient himself. I say, Albine, where's the jolly old stretcher?
No need for one.
How are you, Algy?
Fine. The doctor gave me a clean sheet.
Are you sure? You were in a good deal of pain after the fall, Algy.
Bumps and bruises. He treated everything that's wrong. Well, what's the news, Biggles?
Oh, positively scrumptious, Albine. Feel like a spot of desert warfare?
Ever heard of the Gobi Desert?
Of course I have. In China, isn't it?
China, Mongolia, Xinjiang. It covers the central portion of Asia. Apparently, it's a frightening place.
Sounds fascinating.
Old sausage, it's the most intriguing belly job we've landed in years. You'll never guess what we have to do.
We won't bother about guessing games. We've been asked to go to the Gobi and fly out a party of missionaries who are there.
Is that all? Well, any transport pilot could do that.
There's one thing about our old Algy. He doesn't overtax his jolly old noddle by reading the newspapers. Might get brain fever if he knew too much about current affairs.
What are you talking about?
You know the situation in China, don't you?
Well, I know they're mixed up with the Korean stash, if that's what you mean.
Well, that makes them right as commos, doesn't it?
Well, everyone knows that, you clot.
And how do you think the communists feel about Christian missionaries?
Oh, I get it. The missionaries are hiding in this Gobi place.
Genius. Absolute valley genius.
Righto, blokes, you can stop your ragging. The position is this, Algy. The Chinese Communist government has treated missionaries pretty badly, but some of them escaped, and they're hiding in the Gobi Desert.
And where to pull them out, eh? Oh, righto. When do we start?
Yeah, not so fast, old son. We aren't compelled to do this job. I told Raymond I'd accept only if you fellows agree to go.
Of course we'll go. If either of these clots is objecting,
I've been into it with them, but I want you to appreciate the setup before you decide it.
Don't tell anyone, old bean, but it's likely to be dangerous.
Commos everywhere, except that no one lives in the desert anyway.
1,500 miles would have to fly over hostile valley territory.
And if we prang, no one will come to help us. The government wallers here will turn up their noses and say they never met us.
well, where's all the trouble? What's to be decided?
I take it from that you agree to go.
Of course I agree, you ass. Wouldn't miss it for anything.
All right, it's on. Now, look at this map I've spread out on the table. There's the Gobi Desert Air.
Yeah, it's pretty big.
It's enormous. The missionaries are hiding way up here, this place called Nanhu.
A town, is it?
No, an oasis. It's a Buddhist shrine. Pilgrims come to worship at a hill full of caves with paintings and carvings of Buddha on the walls.
It's a long way from any airfield, Biggles.
Yes, I know. And goodness knows what the surface will be like. There's a town 20 miles away. This place, Tunhawang. But it's in communist hands, so we'll keep away from it.
We'll hop in from Hong Kong, I suppose.
Not on your life. We'd have to fly over most of China if we went that way. The plane would be identified and brought down very smartly.
Then where else can we go from? It's all Russian country up top.
Our best base is down here in Pakistan, at Dhaka. I've calculated the distances, and we can work it comfortably from there.
But, just a minute, Biggles. We'll have to fly over the Himalayas.
Oh, sizzling sausages. Haven't you ever trundled over a valley hill before?
That's the first time I've heard Mount Everest called a hill. But I suppose it'll be all right.
It's the best course for us, I'm sure of that. Now, gather round, all of you, and study the map very closely. I want to work out exactly what we need for the trip. Then I'll report to Raymond that it's okay, and he can get cracking at once on the supplies.
Halifax bomber, eh? Well, I suppose I can get one for you, Biggles.
Well, I shouldn't think there'd be any trouble, sir. The RAF still have a few of them kicking about.
Yes, it'll be a bit dangerous flying over with RAF markings, won't it?
They'll be painted out. I want as little identification as possible.
Well, what about range? Will you be able to carry enough juice in a Halifax?
We'll have a reserve tank fitted to make sure. Petrol for about 3,000 miles should give us a safe margin. And we'll lighten the kite by taking off most of the war load, of course.
What do you mean by most of the war load?
I was hoping you wouldn't notice that.
You can't carry guns, Biggles. If you shoot somebody, the fat will be in the fire.
And if somebody shoots me, we'll be in the fire. Don't worry, sir. I shan't shoot unless I'm shot at. But when I'm shot at, I shoot back.
You always seem to look for trouble, Biggles.
I don't look for it, sir. It's the other side that serves it up to me. I want to be ready for it, that's all.
Well, I suppose I can trust to your discretion.
I'm afraid you'll have to, sir. No guns, no trip. My men aren't Daniels. When they go into the lion's den, I want them to be equipped to handle him if he turns nasty.
Very well, I'll see what can be done. Anything else you want?
I've made out a list of stores and equipment I'd like you to lay in for me. Apart from that, the only other important thing is the Chinese priest who brought out the information.
Feng Tao. What do you want with him?
He'd be very useful as a guide. Do you think you could arrange for him to go with us?
Oh, I should think so. He's still in Hong Kong, I believe, but we can fly him over here.
Oh, there's no need for that. Arrange for him to wait for us at Dhaka in Pakistan. That'll be our hopping off point.
Right, that'll be done. What else?
Nothing more, sir, except speed. If we're going to do this, I'd like to do it quickly. The sooner we're heading for Dhaka, the better.
Well. Dear old Pakistan. Pity you aren't going to stay here. I feel you'd like us, Mrs.
Excuse, please, sir. Are you Inspector Bigglesworth?
Oh, well, not precisely. But you could refer to me as his brain.
I'm Bigglesworth. You want me?
Good morning, sir. I am Captain Rahamat Ali. I have been instructed to meet you and give you any assistance you require. But at once I must report...
Oh, that's excellent, Captain. There's one thing you can do for me right away. I'm supposed to meet a Chinese priest here. Feng Tao is his name. If you could find him for me...
I was about to report to you, sir. That is not possible.
Oh? Why not?
Feng Tao was flown in several days ago, but he has disappeared. We don't know what has happened to him.
Biggles has struck the first problem on his rescue flight. What has happened to Feng Tao? Is Algy fit enough to carry on with this grueling trip? Listen as this fascinating story develops in the next chapter of The Air Adventures of Biggles.